And as you can see, this is a great venue for it. Let's see, I want to thank all of you for coming, because without you, there would be no dinner. And, well, there'd be too much dinner, really. But, and of course, I want to thank all of the other ladies who helped cook. Did a great job. Let's take a glass. I can't see anything. Oh yeah, I wanted to let you know that the Grandmothers campaign, I was looking on the website, raises 21% of the money that the Stephen Lewis Foundation raises. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, we tried to set up the table so that there's going to be two separate areas. All of the vegetarian stuff, so if you're vegetarian, you only need to go to that end of the table. Okay, and there should be a selection at both places, so you should be able to go one end or the other. Unless you really, really want to check it all out. We just thought it would be faster if you could have two lines going down two sides of the table, because there's, you know, lots of lasagnas and lots of sauces and that kind of stuff. So, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Normally I just pull a number at random, but this year, in light of the patriotic challenges we're having, I have a nice little Canada quiz. And if you can answer a question right, maybe we'll get to go on. If you don't know anything about Canada, you're just going to have to go home hungry. Okay, there are a couple of things I can't let you get away without saying a few things. One thing I would like to say is that in view of President Trump and his little minion, a lot of foreign aid has been canceled. You probably are all aware of USAID has been canceled, and it is devastating for organizations all around the world, but especially in Africa. And some of the political parties in Canada, mentioning no names, appear to be going down that same route, saying that if they get elected, they will cancel or greatly reduce our foreign aid. Which is, you know, I mean, I know everybody's hurting, but we're a pretty affluent country. And when you consider what people who are living on the edge in Canada live like, and what people who are living on the edge in Africa live like, there's really no comparison. So I thank you for your generosity, and keep that in mind when you go to the polls. I have a little message here. Meg French is the executive director of the Stephen Lewis Foundation. And I have a little thing I would like to read that she said. This was in the latest Grassroots magazine, which is the magazine from the Stephen Lewis Foundation. Every day for the last month, I have been angry. I can't listen to the news or look at social media without being hit by the devilish acts of Donald Trump and his minion Elon Musk. These men show no empathy for the impact of their actions, no compassion for the people left without medicines, food, education, or protection from violence. People are losing jobs. Organizations are shutting down. Lives are at risk. Since Trump unleashed this horror that is upending decades of global cooperation, I have seen the good in the Stephen Lewis Foundation partner organizations facing budget cuts of 70%, whose staff are working as volunteers rather than shut down. Organizations that are sharing antiretroviral supplies and offering counseling to support communities coping with increased stigma and discrimination, all while planning for long-term change. In this moment of darkness, the good in the world still shines. It is the undaunted solidarity and collective refusal to surrender to the evil being perpetrated by Trump that keeps me optimistic, even in my anger. Because when good people come together, justice will prevail. Now, I find that very inspiring, but I also wanted to read you a section, a group in Zimbabwe called Musasa, and there's a very short thing here about their work. I mean, it's really incredible, the work they do. I think they've been around for something like 35 years. Musasa's work has made immeasurable impact over the years. They operate 14 women's shelters across urban and rural areas, this is in Zimbabwe if I didn't say that, and mobile centers that provide essential education, reaching even the most remote communities. Musasa was instrumental in the passage of Zimbabwe's Domestic Violence Act in 2007. They also played a key role in raising the minimum age of marriage to 18 years old, and introducing mandatory minimum prison sentences for rape. Despite this heroic work, the communities Musasa serves face growing challenges. Severe drought, climate change, and inflation are pushing more women and girls into poverty, which puts them at greater risk of gender-based violence and acquiring HIV. Without economic independence, they may be forced to marry, leave school, or engage in unsafe work. Funding for programs that address gender-based violence have always been inadequate, and now the U.S. funding loss will have devastating outcomes. That gives you an idea of some of the things they do. It's not all about school uniforms and drugs anymore. Like they've expanded their reach so much for women's empowerment and even into the legal areas, changing laws. And this is the last thing I promise, and then I'll shut up, is one grandmother's reason for being a part of the Grandmothers to Grandmothers campaign. Her name is Catherine Owen, and she is the a member of the Oceanside Grandmothers on Vancouver Island, BC. She says, and I think a lot of you will resonate with this, I'm a grandmother who doesn't have to worry about my grandchildren's education, access to health care, or basics of life. I sometimes worry about other things, but never the basics of life. I know that my grandchildren will lead a relatively good life with access to clean water and safe housing. I know they will have the chance to make choices related to all aspects of their lives. I'm not saying all the choices will be good ones. This is my wish for all the grandmothers and grandchildren on planet Earth. The grandmothers have the same confidence that their grandchildren will have the chance to fulfill their potential. The grandmothers will feel supported and upheld as they work toward a better future for themselves and their grandchildren. The Stephen Lewis Foundation's Grandmothers to Grandmothers campaign is unique in that it is aimed at an often forgotten demographic. The strength of women caring for children, whether their own or their grandchildren, is a powerful force. And the results of this partnership have already made a difference. Together we can make so many wishes come true. Wishes for education, health, clean water, and safe housing. That's why I support the program. I'm a grandmother too. Okay, as soon as the food is, we're getting the food? Mm-hmm. Getting